Welcome to the Recover You podcast. I'm Kylene.
And I'm Patrick.
We are a couple in recovery
from sex addiction
and betrayal trauma. Together, we share our story to encourage you on your journey. It's here that we talk about sex addiction, betrayal trauma, mental, emotional, and physical health, faith, and anything and everything needed to recover you to your most authentic self that God created you to be. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Recover You.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Happy December. Happy end of the year. Can you believe it is wrapping up 2024?
Yeah.
So we had a thought. We're going to do things a little bit differently for the month of December. So the first 3 Wednesdays, you will have episodes as usual, but we're going to make them a little bit shorter. So they'll be around 15 minutes or so. And we really wanted just to make them quickly actionable, helpful, tools that you can use for anyone. So the first episode, this first Wednesday in December, we're going to talk about saying no. And we're going to give you 3 polite ways to say no. Because if any of you are out there like me, who is a people pleaser, you probably get invited to things and you go, man, I'm really busy that week. And but I don't technically have something scheduled that night. How can I say no and not be rude? Or maybe you just don't want to go to something. Or maybe you really are busy, but you still feel bad saying no.
As you're talking, I often, and I remember having this conversation with some coworkers a couple of years ago, but basically like, oh, every Christmas we have to go to Uncle Billy's house. And I hate going to Uncle Billy's house and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And I'm always like, why don't you just stay home? Mm-hmm. And so it's the holidays are a time that can really push against your wanting to say no because of family patterns and family expectations, and it's what you've always done and stuff like that.
Yes, and Patrick has always been somebody that he's like, you can just say no, and I'm like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. So we thought we would share some of that with you. And specifically, I think, it is very important to sort of state really wherever you are in recovery, but particularly in the beginning, like let's say this is the first holiday season as a couple that you're navigating the holidays, do not feel bad to really cocoon. If you really need to say no, if you need to stay home, the priority is survival. The priority is your relationship. The priority is rest and connection and communication. Now, for some of you, you might be in a phase where it's like being around other people is going to be helpful for us in this time. And for others, it might be, no, we need to have more conversations or we need more downtime, whatever it is. So just know where you're at. And if it's a time to be around a lot of people and that's going to fill your cup, then that's totally okay. And if it's a time that you need to spend together and work some things out or have deeper conversations or just be together and relax, that's also okay. So if you need to say no this holiday season, we're going to talk about that.
Ways to do
it. And again, like I'm sure many of you have patterns deeply ingrained. Maybe there's guilt systems in your family, or maybe this isn't even about family, right? Maybe it's just like friends inviting you, and maybe it's a party that you look forward to every single year. And you're like, I really love doing that, but I'm so tired from whatever we've been processing this year. Right. And so that's really okay to just say, I can't this time. So here are three suggestions. So this first one can be used in really any scenario, but it could even be like a long-term commitment request. So for example, maybe you're being invited to join a committee of some sort, or something that's going to be once a month or a couple times a quarter, or maybe even once a week. And it's a really great opportunity, but it's not something that, with everything that you're dealing with individually or as a couple right now, that it's just not the right time. So the first polite way to say no is, I'd like to do that, but now is not the right time. Thank you for thinking of me. It's great. I think it's a great option.
I think the real key to it is you sometimes have very pushy people. Well, why not? You always came home. Do you not like me?
You could just repeat the same thing.
Right,
you say, I really would like to. If it's true that you really would like to do it, then this is a great answer. I really would like to do it, but now is not the right time. Thank you for thinking of me.
Right.
So the second one is...
Actually, can I say in that you aren't required to give a further explanation.
Yes, exactly.
You aren't required to. Well, what's wrong? Why wouldn't you come? Just This year's not the time.
The right time.
Yeah.
You just repeat part of it. Not the right time. Yep. Well, and that's part of the three polite ways of saying no. You'll notice they're not going into a lot of explanation, because kind of along the people pleasing patterns that I was kind of talking about, if you have a trouble saying no in general, then you probably also notice that when you say no, you feel like you have to over explain exactly what Patrick was saying. Like, well, if I say no, I have to tell them, I'm busy like the whole day, or I've just had so much going on, or, you have to like, but I had a very polite, decline to an invitation recently, and that's actually the second one, because someone declined my invitation, and I thought it was a very, very, very last minute invitation, so it was totally okay. But I was like, that's a really great way to say no to somebody politely. I was like, it registered in my brain. So this is the one that I've personally received that I think is very polite. So sorry, thanks for the invitation, but we have to decline. I love it. It doesn't hurt your feelings. But I noticed, I was like, there was no explanation as to why.
Well, when you read that to me, I was like, I'd be afraid to ask them why. The way they said it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because maybe they don't have something going on, but they still said no. Good for them. That's great.
Yeah.
So maybe you're busy that day. You actually do have something going on or not. I think based on what we just shared, this one totally works. So the second one is, so sorry, thanks for the invitation, but we have to decline. But I have to decline, or however you want to say that. And feel free to personalize these, reword them, mix and match, Again, not too many details included in any of these, and that's totally okay. That's on purpose. The third one, maybe you technically don't have anything going on that night, but you've been busy the whole week. Right. It's like your one night that's free. Right. And so then the guilty part of you is going, oh my gosh, like, how can I say no? It's my friend, or it's my family member, or it's a tradition, or whatever. But one thing that we just want to normalize is that, especially when you're going through something like reconciliation or recovery, anything in this area that we're talking about, it requires a lot of mental and physical energy. And so it really, truly is okay to say, you know what, we're busy Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we go to church on Sunday. Like Wednesday night is my only free night that week. And so like, I really don't want to, and I'm not saying this is the no, this is in your head, saying, I don't want to book something for myself on Wednesday night. Like I need that downtime. I need that relaxation. I need that space. It's okay. One of the most important things I think, like we did this for I don't know, like a year, maybe. We were creating more margin in terms of now maybe some of that ended up being unhealthy in terms of, because I think in my life, some of the things just shut down. Like I just wasn't doing things as much, but we didn't go to different events, and, we didn't do certain things that first year, and it really was okay. But priority number one was survival and connection and working through what we needed to work through. So that's always okay. Even if you're 10 years into this and you guys are doing great and your life is going normal, if you're busy and you have kids and you have a lot of things going on, and then all of a sudden you get invited and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to go, but that's my only free night, then it's really okay to say no. So to that end, here is an option. Option number 3, it sounds like a great event, but I have to sit this one out, or I will sit this one out, or I'm going to sit this one out. Again, we want to be honest, right? And so whatever wording makes you feel comfortable that it's appropriate, but they're all very polite, right? Like, so sorry, or I'd like to do that, or it sounds like a great event. Those are parts of the 3 options that we provided. You're saying something nice to them, but no. So the 3 options would be, I'd like to do that, but now is not the right time. Thank you for thinking of me. Option number 2 is, so sorry, thanks for the invitation, but we have to decline. And number 3, it sounds like a great event, but I have to sit this one out. How do you feel about those?
I feel good about
them. Yeah. I would say to anybody listening, maybe say them out loud, try them out. And, I even made a suggestion to someone the other day, a client of mine who said that they struggle with communication, or they overthink their communication, or they overanalyze their communication. And I said, what might be a great idea is just go on, if somebody texts you and she's overthinking how to reply in a polite way, go to ChatGPT and say, this is the text that my friend just sent me, and maybe copy and paste it. And then say, I would like to reply no in a very polite way. And then say, please give me 5 different options or 15 different options that sound polite, that, and even you could even say that don't go into a whole lot of detail or explanation. And ChatGPT will throw some things out there, and you can look at it and you can personalize it, and you can find one that fits and makes you feel good. And then that way you can practice doing this. And I think it really is okay to say no. That's kind of the point of this short episode. Is just we want to encourage you that one of the most important things is knowing where your priorities lie in terms of being able to recover individually and as a couple. And one of the things that we're going to really encourage people to do is lean into each other and lean into communication and lean into like the cocoon of the relationship for a while you're creating stability. And so we're actually going to talk about that next week. We're going to give you some holiday specific ways to check in with each other and make it a little bit more personalized for the holidays. But we hope this was helpful. Any other tips on saying no, Patrick?
No, good luck. Say no often.
Often. We hope that this episode was helpful, and we will see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Woohoo! If you're listening to this, it means you've made it through an entire episode. Part of recovery is spending time engaging in healing and self-growth activities. We are thankful that you chose our podcast to be one of those activities today. Make sure you reward yourself for that accomplishment. If you've enjoyed this episode or this podcast, we would love to hear from you. Please take just a few moments to leave a rating and review, letting us know your experience with Recover You. We not only love hearing how these episodes are helpful, but ratings and reviews help others just like you who are searching for recovery information and support find the podcast too. We can't wait to hear from you. See you next week.